It's one thing to be a nice girl or a nice guy, and it's another not to call out someone for their bullshit or on their bullshit. Excuse me. Listen, I've been seeing this a lot late throughout my entire life. Well, I'm not an old guy by any means at this time of this rant. But listen, you can be a nice guy or a nice girl, but at the same time, you need to be ready to actually say, look, I'm not gonna put up with your bullshit. I'm not gonna put up with your immoral or bad behavior. That's what you need to be, and that's what you need to do. I understand that there's people out there who actually have issues with conflict and don't want conflict. Look, I was a lot like that when I was younger, but when I've grown up and gotten older, I'm starting to see that the reason why the world the way it is now is because of the fact that we're way too tolerant towards the wrongdoing and evil. We need to stop acting and behaving this way. The only way we're going to make a change in this world and make differences, we need to start calling out people on their bullshit. It doesn't matter how nice that person is, how much you like that person, or if this person entertains you or whatever. It doesn't matter. Or how charismatic or whatever they are, or how imposing they seem to be. You need to call them out. You need to call him or her out on their bullshit. That's what you need to do. The reason why the powers that shouldn't mean, the reason why evil in general, why bad people in general usually get away with a lot of things, or they get rewarded, is because of the fact that it seems like the people who consider themselves to be good, or the forces of good, it's just they're way too tolerant and way too nice for their own good. Like I said, it's one thing to be nice, and it's another thing to actually just allow people to walk all over you in the name of. You gotta understand that we're dealing with forces in this world that do not actually care about how loving or how cute or nice you are to someone or them. You're dealing with people who actually will take advantage of that and actually will exploit that. And I've seen it time and time and time and time again. Nice girls and nice guys finish last because of the fact that they're still just afraid of actually just getting in their face and dealing with the problem. See, this goes back to the whole thing about when I talked about how when someone who has ill intentions wants to carry out those intentions, they get it done. That's why I always say that when evil wants to get something done, they get it done. Whereas when the forces of good want something done, most people tend to get wishy-washy. That's the problem. It seems like people as a collective, not me, people as a collective actually seem to be wishy-washy about wanting good in the world. They say they want to make a difference. They say they want to make a change, but they get wishy-washy and they do nothing. Or they think, oh, I'm powerless, even though they have all the power in the world to get it done. Nice guys and nice gals, the reason why the reason why they struggle is because they're wishy-washy. It's that simple. I mean, instead of being wishy-washy, you need to have firm foundation. You need to plant your feet on the ground and say, look, even though I'm a kind, compassionate, and loving person, at the same time, I don't take anyone's bullshit. And if someone out there is going to play games, I'm going to call that person out on it. And if possible, I'm going to stop them. That's the attitude that people like that need to have. And you got to understand something. When I'm talking about a nice guy or a nice gal, I'm not talking about people who don't fall into a narrow category. I say that because there's people out there who claim to be nice guys themselves, but they're not. I mean, or at least what you think, or unless what you think, but I think they're thinking in terms of relationships. And that's a whole nother story, the whole issue of nice guys versus alphas or asshole types. And that's a whole nother story. You gotta understand that it's something that's not really your fault. Unless it's a situation where you're a dude who really needs to learn how to embrace his masculinity. And no, I'm not talking about hyper-masculinity, or I'm not talking about the modern idea of what a man is. Because the modern idea of what a man is a co-opted thing created by social engineering. I'm not talking about that. What I really am talking about is all these people out there who think it's just all love and light, or that we should all treat, or that we should all treat evil people, just turn the other cheek and all that. And I really wonder if the whole turn the other cheek idea is a corrupted one, or the meaning has been misinterpreted. I don't know, but I really have a hard time believing that when evil does something and you just literally don't do nothing in the return. That's ridiculous. Because if anyone understood the self-defense principle, I mean, there's the non-aggression principle. For example, do not cause harm to individuals who are innocent and haven't done anything wrong. And there's the self-defense principle, whereas when someone does come after you and try to violate your natural rights or the natural right of others, it's your moral duty to actually go out there and defend against those who actually try to cause that harm. That's the self-defense principle. And if you're going to be an individual, I mean, like I said, you could be a nice person, but at the same time, you got to be someone who's ready to go out there and defend your natural rights and defend and help defend the natural right of others. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't be afraid of being confrontational when you need be. Don't be afraid when you have to be confrontational in life sometimes. I understand, like I said, at first, I understand that it's hard, especially when you're not used to it. But over time, you get used to being confrontational with people. When I was younger, I hated being confrontational with people, but I realized that the reason why the world is in the state it is now because of the fact that we're not confrontational enough with people who deserve to be confronted. That's what we need to do. Like I said, I'm just fed up with how people are not willing to get in other people's face. We need to do this if we're going to make a difference in this world. You really think that evil is just going to walk away peacefully? It's going to go quietly? No, it's going to resist. It's going to fight. And we need to be ready to fight as well. Showering them with all the love and light and all that stuff, that's not going to work. You're going to have to say, look, you actually walk over this line, it's over. We're going to fight you to the death if it comes down to that. That's what we need to do to deal with these forces out there. And to deal with those who commit wrongdoing on a regular basis. You know, the little evil, I like to call it, or the mini evil, or the mini-me version of it. It doesn't matter how small wrongdoing is. You need to be confrontational. We need to actually tell how it is to people. Like I said, I understand it's not in most people's nature, but at the same time, you have to do this in a way that shows them, oh man, this person is not messing around. Find a creative way of doing it. If you can't do it in the way that I'm doing it, for example, then find a creative way of doing it that still fits, that's still in line with who you are. Because like I said, we're not going to get shit done if we're going to go out, if we're just go out there and expect evil to run amok, or we somehow going to think that we can somehow avoid confrontation with them. That's not going to happen. And this goes for anything in life, not just the forces of darkness, but for anybody out there. And that's all I have to say about it for now. I might make another video about this. I'm not sure. But this is something that people need to think about. As this is very critical. It's a very critical information because we're living in a critical time right now. That's why. And just remember one more thing. If you actually lay down and don't want to be confrontational, you're enabling the situation. You're literally saying, okay, I'm not going to do anything. But you do realize that inaction is a form of wrong action when in the face of wrongdoing, evil, tyranny, or injustice. But a lot of people don't see that because they've been so conditioned to thinking that someone else should take care of them, or in the fact they lack this thing called self-ownership. I noticed another thing that's also a problem is the fact that since people like us who are, the forces of good, they have a tendency, to tolerate, tend to be, we naturally are compassionate individuals, right? But this gets played against us, and a lot of people don't understand this. This is what these psychopaths and these dark forces want to bank on. They want to try to exploit our compassion because of the fact that a lot of people out there feel sorry for these evil people, to the point where they're willing to let them off the hook if they actually beg hard enough or sincere enough, not understanding that these people, we're dealing with psychopaths here, and it's just, I think, will be a big mistake if we actually if we show these people mercy. We cannot show these people mercy because that's what they're waiting for. After all the things that have been done to us by these people for tens of thousands of years, you want to show them mercy? Anyways, like I said, you want to show these people mercy. But look what they have done to us. Look at the things they have been doing to us. Thousands of years. They didn't show us no mercy when it comes to their agenda. And when it seems like they're showing mercy, that's only because of the fact they're trying to pacify us. Not because they are doing it from the bottom of their heart. That's something else you have to take into consideration as well. It's just that it's one thing to feel bad about to feel sorry for their state. It's another to actually tolerate their bullshit because these people need to get what's coming to them. These people have to learn. Throughout my whole entire life, I had to learn. No one was there to actually have compassion for me. I had to learn shit the hard way. You know, these people have to take the bad things that they have done and answer to them. Whatever the consequences may be, they have to answer for them. There's no excuses for them to be off the hook. And if you're willing to, and this goes into the topic of, should I go into the topic? Yes. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go for it. This also goes into the topic of forgiveness as well, where you gotta understand there's a difference between forgiving somebody and letting go. Letting go is when you're no longer holding on to the emotions of what someone has done to you, wherever it may be, they traumatized you in some way or did something or anything else that's bad to you. And there's one thing to let go of those emotions and not let it affect you versus forgiving that person for what they have done to you. You gotta understand that this is how I do things, and I believe other people should do it the same way too, depending on the circumstances. And that's I don't forgive an individual unless they find a way to redeem themselves for their wrong actions. That's my attitude. I'm thinking you did the crime. Now you need to do the time. That's my motto. Because these people out there need to learn a hard lesson. The dark people who commit evil and wrongdoing, I don't care what the reason it may be. There's many excuses for why people do this and all that. There's so many excuses, so many justifications you can go on. But the universe doesn't even give a shit about anyone's justifications, and rightfully so. And people are gonna have to reap the consequences of that metaphysically. And that's something else. But even though one way to get out of that is, of course, to forgive those people because it actually frees them of the concept of that energetic of the energy they created. That the seed that they planted, it frees them of that. But as for forgiveness, like I said, the only way I can forgive someone if they actually want to redeem themselves, because saying sorry is not enough. And I'm talking about when someone does something really, really bad, though. I'm not talking about petty stuff, or he or she said this to me or that, or, not petty stuff. I mean, I'm talking about someone that committed some great crime against you, or great harm against you. Yeah, that person needs to pay, I'm sorry, but, I understand a lot of people are talking about how, oh, well, we can fix things if we actually just, let go of everything. But at the same time, we're dealing with psychopaths who are not going to stop. They're not going to stop at what they do. Even if they say they're sorry, they're not going to stop. You got to understand that we're dealing with a bunch of psychopaths here. We can't underestimate all these thugs, all these gangsters, all these people, these so-called establishment drones and the ones who work in the establishment. We cannot show these people mercy. We're dealing with some hardened people here. And a lot of wannabes who think are hardened, but will cower like a bitch when you actually get them in an uncomfortable position or get them in the corner. This kind of reminds me of some of those street fight videos I watched where one dude was being an asshole, the other guy actually gets his hands on the other guy and he starts whining and crying. I watched this video a few days ago of a smaller woman choking out this dude because she knows some Brazilian jiu-jitsu. She was choking out this dude, and he was just crying for his life because this dude tried to rob her. This dude tried to rob her, but he got her, and she had him in a position where she was choking him, and he was crying for his life. He was literally crying out for Jesus. I'm thinking this shows how much these guys want to be criminals. They want to be hard. They think it's like on TV. Like they how on TV they try to glorify thug life and all that. But when they try to be thugs, look what happens. They realize how hard it is, and they start to cry for mommy when they realize that they've been compromised, or they can't take down that person who's smarter than them, or they can't take for them. That's what it reminds me of. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, you understand there's a lot of guys out there who are really hard, hardened people, and there's a lot of wannabe guys who want to be hard, you know? So you got to understand that you got to show no mercy to any of these people. And these people, especially the ones who actually realize that, you know, being a gangster, being a criminal, being a thug isn't a cool thing. Taking from people, robbing from people, raping, murder ain't cool. You know, some of these people need to be, these people, particularly the ones who are not hardened, the ones who pretend they are, you know, they need to be scared straight. You know, they need to be scared straight into realizing the path you're going down is a path that's going to cause you all sorts of anguish and suffering. You know, and these people, and there's a lot of people out there who try to have compassion for these people who, you know, who start whining and crying when they get caught trying to do something bad or are trying to harm another individual. You know, what I'm trying to get at is that we can't show good has a long-standing tolerance for evil because of the fact they're too nice to evil. Evil that shows us no mercy unless they find it useful for their dark purposes. But we can't show no mercy to evil. We got to exterminate it. You know, there's people out there, like I said, forgiveness, it's all great. I feel it's all great. Forgiveness is all great, great, you know. But at the same time, there's psychopaths out there, and there's a lot of people out there that need to learn a lesson. I know people really need to learn a lesson because there's many people out there that you can't just let go of something in the name of forgiveness if they're going to continue their bad behavior. See, that's the biggest problem here, you know, because they might try to do it to somebody else. You never know. That's the point I'm trying to point out, that good needs to stop being so tolerant towards evil. It's that simple. And also, but also keep in mind that I understand there's situations where there's people out there who might steal, rob, or whatever, or have to kill because of the fact that they're in a tight situation where they're poor or they need to feed their families. Or what about this? Or how about a situation where, you know, there's like a little kid who tries to steal from a shop because he's hungry and he has no money. That's different though. I mean, if I ran a shop and that happened, I would say, you know what? Okay, you're okay. I'll just give this kid food. I'm thinking I'll give this kid food, but I'll tell him. I mean, I don't mind giving this kid a little something, but I'll tell him, look, you better keep this a secret because I don't want everybody coming here for free food. You know what I mean? Just keep it a little secret. But like I said, there's some situations where there's people out there who deserve compassion and forgiveness. I'm talking about people who have done some petty shit and they thinking, okay, I fucked up and I need to do something to make up for it, or I never going to do it again. I mean, when it comes to petty things in life and you're looking to forgive someone for it, that's different. I'm just talking about what I'm really talking about here in the grand construct of things is people who do serious things such as murder, rape, and cause suffering in all sorts of ways. That's what I'm trying. General suffering, and that's what I'm trying to talk about. I'm not talking about little petty things. Just to clear that up.